All right, now to the newest member of the Pac-12,
It's the Pac-12.
my Zags, which is a good get for the Pac-12.
Yeah.
So Oregon State can add 2 more basketball losses to their ledger. Actually, all those schools can add 2 more basketball losses.
I'm surprised that the Big 12 didn't gobble them up. You know, I know
Well, they probably tried.
I know there was some flirtation there. I mean, Gonzaga's had an opportunity to jump many times and they haven't.
Yeah, well, they probably just weren't, because they don't play football, they're probably just being lowballed.
Yeah.
And this was maybe a better deal because they get a full revenue share.
Full share and don't have to have anything to do with football.
I mean, I'm guessing that's what happened with them. They've been to 9 straight Sweet 16s, though, which is crazy. They're the only school since the tournament expanded in 1985 to have done that.
Yep.
So this is good for the Pac-12. This one, to me, for all the missteps that the Pac-12 has made, and there are many, this is a no-brainer. If you can get Gonzaga, get Gonzaga. This 100%. Is really good for you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't solve the football problem. You know, they'll have to get Sac State or somebody like that. But I was looking into so Gonzaga will join July 1, 2026, which is another annoying thing. You got to wait, over a year to actually have it begin.
Yeah.
But Zags did used to play football. Did you know this?
I did not know that.
They did. And
really?
I was looking into why they bagged it, and I have a little something to read to you.
Okay.
So they played football from 1892 to 1941. But you may be wondering, where did it go?
Yeah.
Did the World War take it from us?
That definitely was part of it. It said Gonzaga's football journey began on Thanksgiving Day, 1892, with a tie game against the Spokane Amateur Athletic Club.
I was a big fan of those guys.
By the way, you know what the final score of the game was?
Tell me it was like 6-0.
4-4.
Oh, yes.
Their head coach's name was Puggy.
If you could give me, you said it was the Spokane Amateur
Athletic Club.
I need one of those, the old football jerseys that like Mr. Burns wears where they're like long sleeve with like reinforced elbows. I want one of those that says the Spokane Amateur Athletic Club football. I need that jersey in my life.
Well, they played Gonzaga to a tie that day. And then the Zags football journey ended on November 22nd, 1941, with its historically worst loss to Washington State College, 59-0. Those 49 years saw a 7-year intercollegiate ban on the sport, changes to how the game was played, and a football-generated contribution to the rise of Gonzaga's profile on the national level.
Well, I mean, if you're Gonzaga, is anyone looking back at that and regretting the decision to not play football?
Well, so here's what happened. So it says, while young boys were attending Gonzaga in its early years, they were able to play football and other sports through an intramural league called Junior Yard Association, or JYA. Yes. Coach Gus Doris led the Gonzaga football program through its golden age in the early 20s, and Gonzaga became a ranked team.
I was just reading about old Gus. He went 20-13-3 with them.
Yeah, little Gonzaga played larger schools such as the University of Oregon, Washington State, and the University of Nevada throughout the 20s and 30s. However, once World War II began, Gonzaga football lost its funding and its players. After the war, students wrote petitions to bring football back to Gonzaga, and the administration deliberated carefully over these appeals. Suggestions were made to continue the program, such as reducing the number of players and having alumni underwrite athletic scholarships, but these ideas were not enough. The facts were that after continued losses and no promise of better results, football was harming Gonzaga's self-respect. Furthermore, Gonzaga administration did not want to lower the school's academic standards just so students could play football, and there was concern that professors might be giving better grades to football players than deserved.
How about the dum-dums? They're like, hey, no, can't let those idiot football players
They were pioneers.
Finally, there was no way to play the football. There was no way to pay the football program deficit that had built up over the years while simultaneously funding the program, given the impending stadium repairs that were needed. Gonzaga refused to allow program funding using outside money because it would have meant potential external influence over administrative policies.
Can't have that.
Additionally, recent poor crowd attendance indicated a lack of civic interest. In the end, the substantial past losses and the unbearable future losses were too much to handle. The administration shut down football forever, and Friday Night Lights became a memory of the past.
The unbearable future losses, that's awfully presumptive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like in some ways, you could say they had a lot of forethought here and were smart to shut down football the way we talk about some of these bad programs right now.
We're out.
But then in other ways, it's like, man,
Yeah.
if they had just brought it back and fought through the lean years, who knows?
Yeah, who knows
You know,
what
look
could've
at
happened.
Boise State. Look at, I mean, just the landscape changes so much.
Even if you had stayed on a smaller level, look at like what North Dakota built.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
North Dakota State, I should
Well,
say.
look at their basketball program.
Yeah.
I mean,
Could you? I mean, I know it's easier to build a basketball program than a football program, but yeah. I don't think anyone. My point was that I made earlier. I don't think anyone at Gonzaga is like, man, if we had just played football. I think they're happy. I think
no,
they're happy.
I know, but there's probably a little bit of a what if there.
Sure.
John Stockton's paternal grandfather, Houston Stockton, was a halfback for the football team in the 20s.
Of course he was. You know, just making those tough, smart white runs, right?
And that head coach,
4'5".
Gus DeRace. Gus DeRace was the quarterback for Newt Rockne at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he was. Brought that Notre Dame pedigree.
Well, the Pac-12, when you look at the schools, at least from a basketball standpoint, right? San Diego State recently played for a national title.
Yeah.
You had Gonzaga, who's been the best program on the West Coast for, 20 years. I mean, Gonzaga has been the best program out west.
So you got two. What
Well,
else do you got?
Well, I mean, the Tinkler made a run a couple years ago. You know, it's
Hey, did you
That's
see
where
that
you're going
program get a
next?
shot in the arm today? Beavs basketball got
Yeah.
$3 million in donations from the Dutch brothers, bro.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And
nice.
like a Dutch brother Burgerville guy.
Yeah, he gave $1.5 million to each program, the men's and the women's.
So
Did you say
there's-
Dutch brother Burgerville guy? What does that mean?
he's Dutch brothers and
both?
he owns at
Oh,
least,
he owns some Burgervilles, is that it?
I thought he was like one of the big when I saw the thing, it was Dutch brothers in Burgerville that I think he's involved with. So yeah, I don't know which one he started, but there you go. But yeah, I mean Washington State, they were good under Bennett.
Okay, what is the third best basketball program in the Pac-12? It's not Oregon State, dude. It can't be. If it is, that's an indictment on the league.
Of the last 20 years or just ever?
I think now, like right now,
Well,
what
you-
is the third best?
Dana Altman's done okay.
Dana
No,
Altman- the
Dana Altman's in the
Pac-12,
Big
you
Ten,
idiot.
for God's sakes.
Pay attention.
Utah State made the tournament. Remember they had the
That's a good
but the
program.
sprinkler's
Can't keep
gone.
up with all the conference realignment.
The sprinkler's gone. Boise State makes the tournament every so often.
Do they?
Yeah, Boise State's a tournament team.
So Gonzaga, San Diego State.
I'd
It's
see the-
probably Fresno, right?
No,
Don't they have a good program?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't remember Fresno State in the tournament ever.
Well, San Diego State played for a title recently
We
and had
just said it.
Good
Buck,
God.
stay with us. Stay with us.
You're doing great.
You just referenced them.
F.
I think it's a vicious cockfight between Oregon State, Boise State, and Utah State. I think it is. It might be Boise State. I really do. I
Wait,
think Boise State has been to the tournament more than those schools.
You're right about Fresno. They're out.
Yeah,
Let me see. But Colorado State was good, weren't they? Just
When?
I don't
just
think
last
so.
year.
I don't think so.
Come on, yeah, they were.
No,
The Rams?
I
My
don't
Rams?
think so.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Utah State made the tournament. They had the Player of the Year that transferred to Washington when they took their coach. I think it's Boise or Utah State. I really do. Look at-
Colorado State was a 10 seed last year and a 6 seed 3 years ago.
So they've
I mean, 2 tournaments out of the last 3.
so we throw them into the mix. I think what we say is there's 2 good teams and the rest of it is just a vicious cockfight.
Am I missing a school? So they
No.
brought over Fresno, Colorado, Boise, and
You got San Diego State, Fresno
San Diego.
State, Utah State, Colorado State, Boise State,
Okay.
Gonzaga, Washington State, Oregon
Okay,
State.
so you're saying, let's pin this down before
Pin
we
this
break.
down.
We have to do this. Gonzaga and San Diego State will be the 2 best basketball programs.
Not even close.
Not even close in the Pac-12.
Yes.
Who is third best to you? You're saying Utah State?
I didn't do some more research. I kind of think it might be. I feel like Boise State makes the tournament.
Okay.
I feel like that's a.
We'll go take a look.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do some looking. I think it's a fight between Utah State, Boise State, and
I can tell
I
you.
think it's those 2.
So here's what I'll give you about Utah State.
Yeah.
Just a quick glance here.
Yeah.
They were an 8 seed last year with the sprinkler.
Mhm.
The year before they were a 10 seed. Missed the tournament the year before that, but were an 11 seed, 8, 12, 12, 11. You know, so they
So 3 of the last 4 years.
actually for the last
Oh.
6, they have been to the tournament
Okay.
as an 8, 10, or 11 seed.
Okay. Here's Boise State. Boise State has made the tournament in 2024, 2023, 2022,
Okay.
and then
So 3 straight.
and then 2015, 2013, 2008. So,
About the same.
and I hate to
How are we going to break this tie?
and I hate to say this, but they've never been out of the it looks like they're in the round of 64 the first 4. So they don't it's not great. It's not great, Bob. But they make the tournament.
Where's Andy Katz when you need him? Get
They
him
make
on the
the
horn.
tournament.
All right. Well, anyway, Gonzaga is going to be in the Pac-12. Okay.
Yes. And they will run roughshod over everyone. Like
Yes.
they beat the hell out of the West Coast
Well,
Conference.
it's the same thing they did.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
There.
And they make more money. They get a full share. They don't have to
Yeah.
play football. They should require, if they're going to do this to the basketball schools, they should be required to field a football team and lose 70-0 every time. Make them do it.
What do they have, like 3,000 kids up there? Students?
It's a very small school. It's
What do
not
you think their football team would look like if you just made them next week roll a team out there?
I think it
Wouldn't
would
that be fun?
That's what I'm saying. If they're going to kick the hell out of everyone else in basketball, they should be forced to go and like form a club team that has to play the rest of the schools in football.
I bet they'd have a good kicker.
I could see that. Well, they're such an international place. They would go get an Aussie kicker and punter, and they would be
And they'd just pin you.
yeah. And then you'd run for like 70-yard touchdowns.